good day. Today is our computer 8 in second quarter week 2. Our lesson for today is all about the layer styles. What is layer style? A layer style is one of the more effects applied a layer or a layer group. How to apply the layer styles? In a layer style, it is an Photoshop provides the variety of effects such as the shadow, the glows, the bewells, the trains, the appearance of the layer's contents. Layer effects are linked to the layer contents. When you move or edit the contents of the layer, at the same effects are applied to the modified contents. Now take note of this. A layer is the different levels at which you can place on the object of the image file. In the bevel, it is on slope from the horizontal or vertical converting or the stonework, the sloping surface or edge. And the gradient is the smooth blending of shades from the light to the dark or from the one color to another. Now in apply layer styles, there are the various ways to access the layer styles dialog window. First is right clicking on a layer. So by the right clicking on the layer, you can select blending options to open up the layer style dialog window. Second is the double clicking on a layer. In a double clicking on a layer, thumbnail preview in the layers panel, you can open up the layer style window and the menu bar. Click a layer and the layer style. You can find each individual layer effect or drop shadows, inner shadows, or etc. as well as an option to open up the layer style dialog window or a blending option. And this is the layer style of one of the more effect applied to the layer groups. These are the sample of the layer style dialog box. Next is the layer style dialog box in applying the bevel. So in the bevel emboss layer effect, it is a contour allows you to make your bevel or emboss sharper or softer. Texture gives you the options to add a pattern to your object. So there are the handful of different settings when it comes to using the bevel and the emboss effect, like the following. So the higher the depth, the sharper is the structure. The higher the size, the more center your bevel emboss will be. The shading set of the options allow you to increase the opacity of the both highlights and the shading. It also allows you to change the angle. So this is the source of the light. Next is the stroke layer effect. This stroke layer effect that simply places in the border around your object. So by the position option, which indicates where you want to stroke to be made, can be inner, outer, or the center. So the size of your stroke determines how thick it is. You can adjust these pixel units that defaults 3 pix or the 3 pixels. So the file type allows you to fill your stroke with different elements. You can either choose from solid color or a color gradient or even a pattern. The default file type is a color. So this is the example of the stroke layer effect. Next is the inner shadow layer effect. And what is this? The inner shadow effect is very similar to the drop shadow. So it is applied inside the object instead of the outside of it. So all of the options are the same as drop shadow. You may notice, however, the spread has been replaced with a chalk. That higher on the chalk value, the thicker the shadow. Next is another figure of inner glare layer effect. In the inner glare layer effect, like the drop shadow versus inner shadow, the inner glare versus the outer glow is similar. They are just the inverse of each other. All the options are the same of the outer glow, with one of the additional options or source of that allows you to make a glow appear from the edge of the default settings or the center. So this is the example of the picture in the satin layer effect. In the satin layer effect, applies interior shading that creates of satiny finish. Another feature is the color overlay layer effect. It is include the color overlay is a simple layer style, allowing you to completely cover the layer's contents with a color. This is a useful effect for quickly changing colors and is often used in web design various when alternative colors of things like text and design. Next, another apply in the gradient overlay layer effect. In the gradient overlay layer effect, it does the exact same thing as a color overlay. Apart from that, it is overlays your objects with a color gradient rather than a color. First is the style on the gradient can be a linear, radial, angle, reflected, or a diamond. Second is the scale. All the gradient makes of the similar or the smaller or bigger with respect to the size of your layer objects. Next is there is also a reverse option which allows you to quickly reverse the orientations of your colors, saving from the having to create a new gradient. And last is clicking on the gradient option presents the gradient editor when you can set your gradient's color and type. So one, style, scale, reverse, and editor. Another feature apply is the pattern overlay layer effect. In the pattern overlay layer effect, like the other overlay effects, the pattern overlay works in almost the same way. This is actually very similar to the texture setting when used under the bevel or emboss effect. You can select from the various built-in Photoshop patterns or create and install your own. Another apply in the outer glow layer effect. In the outer glow layer effect, glows are very similar to the shadows in concept. Outer glows are often used to create a subtle effect when our outer edge of an object needs a bit of the boost to get to stand out from background. Outer glows usually work the best on the dark backgrounds. And what are they? So likewise, we have the shadows. You can adjust the blend mood or opacity in the noise of your glow as well as the spread and the size of it. And also the technique. An option you have with the glows that isn't available with the shadows is technique option, which can either be softer or precise. Next is the softer and precise. So this softer gives the edge of your glow or the softer and more subtle edge, whereas precise makes your glow stronger than the bolder. And last is the range. The range option of your glow allows you to change its thickness. The lower the number, the thicker it is. Next is the drop shadow layer effect. In the drop shadow layer effect, the drop shadow is probably one of the most used layer effect. Why? Because this blend move allows you to blend the shadow into the background in the different ways of multiply, overlays, or etc. Lower the opacity, the increase of the shadow, translucence. This angle option of your drop shadow will affect the direction it drops when the distance is set to 1 pixel or higher. If the distance is set to 0, the shadow will spread equally around the layer's contents. And spread allows you to make the shadow thicker or denser. The size is how big or small the drop shadow will be on each side of the object. Changing the quality set of the options enables you to add noise to your shadow and alter the contours of the shadow. Now, let us refresh. So this layer style is one of more effects applied to a layer or a layer group. Again, the layer effects icon appears to the right of the layers name in the layers panel. So to set up a layer style, you will use the layer style dialog window. Then what are the contents of this layer style dialog box? One is the bevel emboss layer effect. Second, stroke layer effect. Third, inner shadow layer effect. Fourth, inner glow layer effect. Fifth, satin layer effect. Sixth, color overlay layer effect. 7. Gradient overlay layer effect. 8. Pattern overlay layer effect. 9. Outer glow layer effect. And 10. Drop shadow layer effect. So that's all for today. For more updates, please monitor our eClass online learning platform. Thank you and goodbye. Again, my name is Rinaldo B. Malimban, your Computer 8.